Today's debrief is about courage, the kind that comes when you're 61 years old, staring down 3,100 miles of mountains, grizzlies, and storms, and saying, I'm doing this anyway. Diane Gansauer reminded me that leadership isn't about speed or perfection. It's about persistence, resilience, and refusing to let anyone else write your story. Let's get to it.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
What's going on, badass? Welcome to this week's episode of the Badass Debrief, the follow-up episode where we take the biggest truth bombs from my conversation with the guest and turn them into bold, unapologetic leadership lessons for you. This week, I talked with Diane Gansauer, who hiked the entire continental divide, 3,100 miles from Mexico to Canada. At 61 years old, her story is packed with grit and wisdom, and we'll get into those takeaways in just a minute. But first, I'm going to try something new, and I'm excited. I want to make this podcast even more practical for you. I'm always trying to add value and make sure that you're getting what you need from this podcast. So I'm trying out 2 quick segments. First is help a supervisor out. Things that make your supervisors' lives easier, or at least that have made my life easier as a supervisor. So if you're not yet in a leadership role, you're like, oh, I can start doing this, help my supervisor out, and show them that I too am a leader. And then the other one, how to handle this. We're tackling real world situations together. And you know what? We're going to go over how you handle certain situations in leadership. And I would love to hear from you. If you have questions, how to handle something at work, hit me up on Instagram at Ordinary to Badass. All right, let's get into it. Help a supervisor out. This is where we highlight something small but powerful that someone did that helped me out as a supervisor. You can also let me know on the gram if you've had somebody do something for you, like an employee do something that really helped you out at work. I like hearing from you guys. Okay, so here's an example that I had recently. When I was newer to my position, I had a guy that was 2 ranks below me. He noticed that I missed a detail, and it was something that was actually important. I just didn't know any better because I was new to the role. And the person that I was supposed to supervise, that position was vacant for like 3 or 4 months because that sergeant was on leave. So instead of staying quiet, this deputy, he came straight to me and he gave me a heads up. And I appreciated that more than he knows. Some people might be like, oh, it's not my place to tell her. I'll just stay quiet. I don't want to bother her. I don't want her to think I'm second guessing her. But no, he spoke up and it helped me out. And here's the truth. It's not brown nosing, it's leadership. And also, I mean, let's be honest. If you can make your supervisor look good, they like you, right? Nobody likes to look stupid. So if you can help somebody else not look stupid, that's cool. I'll take it. How to handle this. This is where I break down scenarios, how I'd handle a tricky situation. And again, you can even send me your own scenarios, your own questions, and we can break it down here. And I'll share how I would approach them. So let's talk drama. I hate drama. Not a fan at all. Unless maybe it's like Real Housewives on TV. That's like a guilty pleasure. It's ridiculous. I know, they're all stuck in high school. And I would not allow it for a second in my everyday life, but I still like it on TV. But at work, there's no place for it. I don't have time for it. I do not like it. It makes me cringe. And I feel like nothing derails a team faster than drama. So my approach is deal with it head on. Gather the group together and just say, hey, flat drama, it does not fly here. This is not how we work. We work together. I expect you guys not to tattletale on each other, not to talk smack behind each other's back. Be a team. Work together. And don't come to me telling me about drama. I don't want to hear about it. The thing is, this won't erase every conflict. People are still going to be people. And if they love drama, they'll still do it. But they might think twice before bringing it to me because I would rather act like adults. We're out of high school. But it absolutely does set the tone that gossip, that cattiness, that's not acceptable. And that's not a leadership quality. We don't value that here. So if you've got a situation that you want me to cover, DM me on Instagram at Ordinary to Badass. I would love to hear from you. And we could tackle it right here on the podcast. So the first takeaway from Diane's episode, courage isn't the absence of fear. Diane told me about hiking more than 100 miles through grizzly bear country alone. She had planned on walking with a partner. Her partner dropped out, and suddenly she found herself going on the hike alone, and she had a choice. Turn back or keep going. She didn't feel fearless. She felt scared. But she kept on moving anyway. She went about it smart and not reckless. So a leadership takeaway is courage doesn't mean that you never feel fear. It means you keep leading even when fear is present. Takeaway number 2, persistence is greater than pace. Diane said that long distance hiking, it taught her that most of life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. She said on the trail, the fastest hikers weren't always the ones who finished. It was the ones who persisted. So how can you apply this to your life? It's not about being the loudest in the meeting or the first to raise your hand. It's about consistency, showing up day after day with steady leadership. It's not all a competition. Just keep consistently showing up. Takeaway number 3 is to travel lightly. One of Diane's most powerful metaphors, travel lightly. She said, backpacker can't carry the kitchen sink. You have to carry what's in your pack or you'll collapse under the weight. You know what? She connected that to leadership. Stop carrying grudges, resentment, drama. They'll weigh you down and they'll keep you from moving forward. Strong leaders, they know when to put things down. You don't have to carry every frustration forever. And I'll tell you what, I told you I was in a mood last week, but I realized that. I recognize that. I'm like, I'm being the B word, so we're just in that kind of mood. So I'm not going to send an email because it's going to come across rude. There's certain emails where I feel myself irritated or frustrated. I'm going to pause. Can I give it an hour, 2 hours, 2 days? If I can give it some time between me feeling frustrated, then I'm going to do that because I recognize when I'm in a bad mood. There's nothing wrong with that. Pace yourself. Okay, takeaway number 4, don't let anyone else tell your story. Diana said, don't let anybody else write your story. Your story is your story. You get to write it. So if you're waiting for someone else to choose you, to promote you, or validate you, then you're handing them the pen. You're letting them write the story. The story is yours to tell. Write it boldly. Okay, challenge for this week. This week, I want you to pick one of Diane's lessons and put it into practice. Where can you take a step forward with fear in your pack? You feel fear and you move forward anyway. Where can you do that? What's one piece of emotional weight you can put down? And where are you letting someone else write your story? I want you to write it down and then commit to an action this week. It's so important. So a mindset shift, an affirmation for this week is, I don't need to be fearless. I don't need to be fast. I just need to keep stepping into my own story. Have you ever felt like you have to work twice as hard at work just to be seen as competent? All right, that's exactly why I created a Breaking Barriers Guide. I interview women across predominantly male industries, military, engineering, finance, tech, who didn't just survive, they thrived. And in this guide, they share the exact strategies they use to gain respect, speak up with confidence, and land the promotion they deserve. Here's the kicker, though. They didn't wait to be 100% qualified. They didn't shrink to fit in, and neither should you. So if you've ever wondered if you're cut out for leadership, this guide is the proof that you are. You can grab your guide at ordinarytobadass.com/barriers. If you like this episode, share it with a woman who's done waiting for permission, or that you think is a badass and you want her to step into leadership. Until then, keep showing up, keep speaking up, and never ever shrink for a seat at the table, because you were born to build it. And with that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.